Hello everyone, and welcome to the Meet and Greet session with our students having patent pending technologies. I'm Ambika Saxena, an Intel AI for Youth coach. Some of you might know me through various sessions I've facilitated so far to make our country's youth AI ready. But today, neither am I going to teach you something, nor we are going to play any game. Today we have with us six students out of CBSE Intel AI for Youth program across country who are going to talk about the intellectual property rights. With us, we have Ashwin JB of class 12 from Excel Public School, Rishabh Base Barwa, and Abranil Ghosh, students of class 11 from Delhi Public School, Bengaluru East, Ayush Gupta and Pranjal Rastogi of class 11 from Delhi Public School, Whitefield, Bengaluru, and Shubhankar Gupta of class 10 from Delhi Public School, R.K. Puram. First of all, congratulations to all of you to be able to pull this off. You guys have certainly set up a benchmark for other students just like you to take a step ahead towards securing their intellectual property. It was the eve of 26th April this year, the day that is celebrated as World Intellectual Property Day, when six brilliant students filed their own innovation as patent pending technologies. While we were all proud and ecstatic, I'm sure we can never imagine the level of joy these kids would have felt. It is indeed a huge achievement in itself to be able to innovate something unique, something out of the box, and secure it with patents. I guess some of you would have an idea of what intellectual property rights are. To help you understand this better, here we have with us Mr. Akshay Chawla, Intel AI for Youth coach. Akshay, please let our audience know what intellectual property rights are and how can they work towards them.
Thank you so much, Ambika, for enlightening us about the students who have created great projects and got it filed under patent law of India. We have been working with students from across the country to create such impactful projects which are very innovative, both from local and global working solutions. And we felt that these students should know the importance of protecting their own intellectual properties. With that said, let us understand what these intellectual properties are. As the term itself suggests, it is something, the property which is yours, but it is intangible. Your ideas. Yes. So imagine a piece of land that you have bought by paying someone some amount of money, but there is no legal paperwork for it. And next day, a man comes and claims that the property is theirs. What do you do? How do you prove that it is yours? You cannot. Hence, the reason of having a legal documentation of anything that you own. Same goes for intellectual properties. It is same with the intangible properties that we have. If we have a very good idea, we can actually protect it a legal way. And that is where the intellectual property rights come in. Each country has their own rights, and we can see where we want to protect it for. There are broadly four types of it. One of it is the trademark, like you must have seen in the brands, the brand names, there is TM written on it. We have logos. So both of them comes under the trademarks. The second one is the copyrights. You might not know, but any document that you create, any image that you click, or anything that you create, you actually own the copyrights of it. You just have to add the copyright mark and write all rights reserved. So your creation will be saved. These can actually be saved till 70 years after you die. So that is a long time. It is a long investment. Even the website, you must have seen a lot of websites have the copyright symbols. Talking about design rights, which is the third category, any design that you create, like maybe jewelry, clothing, furniture, etc., if you feel that it is unique and something which you want to preserve, something which if anyone copies, they should owe something to you or ask you if they want to use it, you can claim for design rights, you can get the rights for it. And the last one, but not the least, is the patents. Patent can be filed for anything that you invent. It can be an innovative product or innovative idea which you feel is possible, and it can be for anything that you create. What do you think these guys fall under from the top four categories? Let us know in the chat sections. I'm sure you guys already have an idea. Yes, it is the patents, the fourth one. In other countries where people are more aware of it, the number of patents are filed way more than what it is in India. And to bridge this gap, it is imperative for our future generation to understand and file for protecting their intellectual properties. With this aim, we organized multiple sessions to aware students who have created their projects, who have created their AI-enabled solutions for any global or local problem across the country. And out of them, these are the six students who have already got their ideas as patent pending technologies. So let's hear it from them. Thank you so much, Ambika. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Akshay, for helping our audience understand a bit more about intellectual property rights. And I'm sure you have ignited a spark amongst them to know more about this concept. Now, it's time for us to begin our discussion with our star kids talking about their journey, experiences, and learnings in the patent filing process. Without further ado, I now invite Ayush Gupta, who, along with his friend Pranjal Rastogi, has come up with an electronic power plant efficiency predictor. Ayush, it's a huge achievement for you to be able to file a patent pending technology at such an early age. Tell me, how does it feel to say, I have filed a patent?
Well, a year ago, I wouldn't even have imagined that I would apply for a patent, so this achievement still seems surreal. To know that something I created has a chance of being published as a patent is just amazing. And for this to happen even before I reached college makes it all even more special. I would want to thank the Intel AI for Youth team for making this possible. The work done with the mentor and the lawyer provided is what helped me achieve this. While making this project, we had many setbacks. At one point, we even considered dropping the whole idea. But I'm glad we didn't, because in the end, it was all worth it. Our project uses AI to figure out the efficiency of a potential power plant built at a location based on the weather conditions. This is important because as of now, finding locations is a major bottleneck while building sustainable power plants. So this would help in increasing the use of sustainable electricity. I feel happy that I've come this far, but I also feel a sense of responsibility for using the knowledge I have gained in the future for other ideas that make the world a better place.
Wow, Ayush, that is some amazing work that you have done on your project. I believe rest of you all would be feeling the same way as Ayush. Thank you. Now, I would like to invite Rishabh Barua, who has come up with the idea of an AI-enabled autism assistant with his friend Abrunil Ghosh. Rishabh, your project can support autistic patients overcome social and communication challenges. What urged you to file an application for intellectual property rights for your innovation? What, according to you, is the importance of filing an IPR?
So, an idea is important for protecting one's invention. There are many creative people in our country, but they do not publicize their creations due to the fear of it getting copied. An IPR helps in making sure that their idea isn't copied and that a person can get the benefit of their invention. Without protection, innovation is impossible, and that's where an IPR is important. IPR rights are recognized all over the world because they provides incentives to the inventors for new creations. It provides recognition to the creators and inventors. These make sure that no one else can copy their work. It ensures the material reward for intellectual property. The inventor gets to reap the profits from their creation. One can also get an investor more easily if they have a patent. It ensures availability of genuine and original products from the inventors. And finally, a patent also ensures credibility to the inventor and the invention. If intellectual property rights decrease, so will the quality of creative goods, as the creators themselves won't have much incentive to continue to devote their time and energy to their intellectual work. In layman's terms, if there are no patents, there will be no more originality, and progress in technology will either slow down or come to a complete halt. Changes in the global economic environment have influenced the development of business models where intellectual property is a central element establishing value and potential growth. So, basically, in simple terms, in order to succeed in your business, you must have a patent. Patents are worth it if you want to control how your invention is made, how it's used, and to prevent anyone else to profit from your idea. Without having a patent, you won't have ownership or control over your invention. This means that you won't be able to sell or license your intellectual property to anyone because you do not have the exclusive rights to it. Also, anyone who hears about your idea can imitate it, and not having a patent over it makes things much easier for the person who copies. That is why intellectual property rights are very important, and that is why it was also important for us to file a patent in our project. Thank you.
That was some very valuable information, Rishabh. Thank you for enlightening us with the importance of intellectual property rights. Let's now talk to Ashwin JB, who created Cyclops to aid blind people in their day to day activities. Many of us are curious to know how it all starts. Please tell about your journey so far. How did you end up filing a patent pending technology?
I would say my journey started when I first heard the words artificial intelligence. I remember researching about what AI was, but it was never clear to me. But as technology progressed and the use of smartphones became more prevalent, the clouds around what AI was and its uses became clearer. I spent my spare time studying about how AI can help improve our future. During this time, I got an opportunity to be a part of the Intel AI for Youth program, where we were taught about concepts related to artificial intelligence, machine learning, and computer vision for a period of about 4 months. This program helped me develop my skills as a coder and clarified any questions I had related to the topic. At the end of the 4 months, we had to make a project from what we had learned. My project was a walking stick equipped with a camera to aid the visually impaired in their day to day activities using AI. My mentors during the project phase, Pranshu sir and Paras sir, were extremely supportive and helped me throughout this phase. I decided to take my project to the next level by applying for a patent. I started working on my solution by about the end of 2020. Initially, I submitted a brief document on what my project was. There were times where I felt the task ahead to be a little daunting as it was something very new for me. But as the process went further, I got used to it. As time went on, I further developed my solution to make it as close to a real life product as possible. By April, I presented a document with most of the intricate details of the final product. I polished the document by about the end of April, and I had successfully filed for a patent pending technology. The entire process was a lot of hard work as it was something completely new for me and there was a lot of research involved. What worked in my favor was the fact that most of my time spent was over lockdown, which provided me with a lot of time to work on my final product. I sincerely thank the AI for Youth, Intel AI for Youth team, especially Akshay sir and Advocate Ashish Gupta for guiding me throughout the entire course and for giving me an opportunity to prove myself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashwin, for sharing your your AI readiness journey with all of us. I hope other students too get inspired by you and get started to become AI ready. I would now like to invite Abronil Ghosh, who worked with Rishabh on their project of AI Autism Assistant. Abronil is one of the oldest kids to have worked with Intel AI for Youth program. He was a part of the pilot program of AI for Youth in 2019 and since then has been able to contribute towards creating social impact solutions with the power of AI. Abronil, what role, according to you, has Intel AI for Youth program played in your AI readiness journey that today you have successfully filed a patent application for your own innovation?
So, the CBSE Intel AI for Youth program has played an immensely significant role in empowering me as it constantly supported and kindled our creativity while teaching us about artificial intelligence. So, as we learned about concepts such as computer vision and natural language processing, we were also side by side taught about their various use cases. We went into detail about existing projects that implemented such technologies. We were also constantly pushed to come up with our own ideas that could help use these technologies in a better way. We also learned about the UN Sustainable Development Goals, which provided a direction for our learning and innovation as we constantly tried to put forth pitches for projects that could potentially help better the world. Through the course of the program, we also picked up a wide variety of skills that complemented our imagination and enabled us to create new projects. Towards the end, we also had the opportunity to create two scale functional AI enabled projects based off of our own ideas. Throughout the course of building these, we were provided with one on one mentorship, not only for technical support, but to boost our own imagination and innovation as well. The experience helped us learn a lot more and also develop our ideas better, as now we knew the limits and the realities of crafting our own AI project. We also got to showcase our projects, which gave us great exposure. Aside from just enabling us to bring our ideas into reality and supporting our innovation and novelty, the program also played a very active role in our filing a patent through the IPR awareness session that was conducted by Intel. It was through this that we learned about patents, what they really are, and how we ourselves could go about applying for one. We were taught about the various types of patents, the difference between domestic and international patents, and a lot more. With their continuous support alone, could we have arrived at this stage and, after all our efforts, finally apply for a patent ourselves?
We can see how you have learned a lot in your AI readiness journey. Thank you, Abronil, for throwing some light on this. We now move to Pranjal Rastogi, who created a project of electronic power plant efficiency predictor along with Ayush Gupta. Pranjal, now that you are empowered enough to become AI ready, do you think the skill sets that you have acquired so far will help you in achieving your goals? What have you planned for your future?
So first of all, good afternoon, everyone. I think that filing an IPR has greatly boosted my confidence, as I'm sure it has for my fellow patent applicants. After filing the IPR, our ideas have reached a larger audience and have generated more interest. As my friend Ayush already mentioned, our idea makes sustainable power plants easier to make and cheaper, hence making sustainable energy cheaper. In the future, I think sustainable development is very necessary, and I would like to research and work on more ideas related to safe and sustainable living, and possibly file IPRs on them. I strive to become a professor and encourage students to discuss and develop new ideas. The world needs new inventions in safety and sustainability. Current times have also made me realize the need of good communication. be it for education, working from home, collaborating to help COVID 19 patients, or just connecting to your friends and family. For a safer world, we need better and safer communication. Humans are a social animal. Connecting to other people is essential. I would like to work on developing secure, sustainable communication mediums based on artificial intelligence. To make a safer and sustainable world, we also have to look at space technology. Sustainability and space are interconnected. Once the astronauts leave Earth, they live on very few resources and have to lead a sustainable lifestyle. Aerospace technology has always been fascinating to me. And it's wonderful to see companies like ISRO and SpaceX make such huge advancements, with ISRO working on such a small budget and SpaceX making spaceflight cheaper and sustainable. I would like to be part of creating such technology and actually help change the world. To sum it up, in the future, I would like to make a greener world, a safer and a sustainable world using AI. Thank you.
It's good to see how you aspire to work towards making our world a better place to live. I hope you are able to achieve more such milestones in your life. Last but not the least, let's talk to Shubhankar Gupta, whose idea is of a NecoVolt, an AI-based model to monitor electricity usage of a household to reduce consumptions. Shubhankar, based on your takeaways from this journey, would you like to give any suggestions to our audience here to motivate them towards securing their intellectual properties?
Yeah, so no idea, however big or small, should go to waste. If you have one which you feel has never been implemented yet, you should certainly try to get to know it better and work on it. Being stuck while brainstorming is inevitable. It could be since you feel something is impractical or not quite what you were hoping for. In situations like these, you can always pivot a little bit, and believe it or not, pivoting could make you reach levels you could never think of initially. As you spend more and more time researching and improving your product, you will feel more confident about it. When you've updated and have the final product of what you wanted to make, it's only right that you get some sort of legal protection for it, which is where the role of a patent comes in. A patent, first of all, gives you recognition for your hard work and also assures you that what you've made is officially yours and that it doesn't belong to someone else. It belongs to you. It's something I would certainly recommend you to do to consolidate a strong background in the field of your choosing, which could be any field, any field. Although this process was sometimes intimidating, it has been one of the most enriching experiences of my life, and it's something anyone should pursue at least once in their life.
Thank you so much, Shubhankar, for such thoughtful suggestions for our next generation. I hope all of you are now filled with enthusiasm to work towards your own innovations and securing them with IPRs. With this, it's time to wind up our discussion. But before we leave, let's see if we have got any interesting questions from our YouTube Live. Well, I could see that some of the students want to know more about the projects that you guys have created. So, why don't you all just go ahead and talk about your project in brief? You can simply explain the projects. I'll call your names one by one so that there is no confusion, and then you can go ahead. Okay? So, Ayush and Pranjal, why don't you go first?
Well, as I mentioned, our project uh, uses AI to predict the efficiency of power plants, such as solar power plants or wind power plants, so that they are built in places that are good and help increase the electricity produced. This is helpful because finding locations is extremely hard and time consuming, and over time, this should help increase the use of uh, electricity that is generated in an eco-friendly way?
Yeah. So currently, finding a location for a power plant is a very time-consuming process, like Ayush just said. So our project aims at making that easier. So you don't have to scout a location anymore. You can just enter the location coordinates on a screen, and we tell you how efficient a power plant would be. You don't have to spend huge amounts of time and money, and our product will just tell you that in a few seconds. Using this value that we give back, you can judge how efficient a power plant would be at that location that you provided. And that helps making power plants cheaper in the long run, which will help us reach the goal of sustainability.
Okay, well, that's great. Thank you. Thank you, Ayush and Pranjal.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Ashwin, would you like to go next?
Sure, ma'am. So my project, it's basically a walking stick with a camera in front of it. So this my project is aimed at visually impaired people. These are people who they suffer every day to move around, to navigate around places. They face a lot of difficulties. They mostly depend on other people to help them around. If it's either their house or crossing the road or anywhere indoors. So my project is aimed at these people. So it's basically a walking stick with a camera in front of the stick. The camera detects objects in front of the stick and gives it as an audio output. Let's say there's a table in front of the person, the visually impaired person, and he's walking towards the table. So the camera detects the object in front, and with the speakers on the stick, it'll tell the person that there's a table, let's say 5 meters in front of you, so be careful. So by this, I'm trying to help these people. I've seen a lot of them suffer, and I felt really bad for them. uh, as of now, I wouldn't say there are we've we've developed that much, like, technologically, to find other viable, economically viable solutions to visually impaired people's problems. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashwin, for explaining your project to us. Let's go to Abronil and Rishabh now.
Right. So our project, the AI Autism Assistant, is aimed at people suffering from autism or other related syndromes, whereby they cannot tell emotions very easily or very accurately, because of which they suffer in social interactions, such as conversations, etc. So we got our idea partly from the book called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, where the protagonist, Christopher Boone, suffers from such a syndrome. And he often says that something that helped him was to try and characterize people's emotions on the basis of emojis. And he refers to this throughout the book. So we tried to come up with a system that would do it for them. So we have two broad aspects of our project. First is the computer vision part, where we take in a live stream from the webcam of the user, and using artificial intelligence, we segregate first the faces of all the people that are present, and we predict and or rather identify the emotion of all the people in the frame. So, and we output this through the portal that is there. This way, the user gets to see the emotions of all the people involved and helps him through the social interactions. Rishabh will brief you further.
And then there's also the second part of the project, which is the natural language, is the processing use part. That part basically takes in the audio input from the microphone, and based on the audio or the speech that they say, it tries to predict the emotion and then displays the predicted output. So one of our, I mean, another great reason why this project, for this project, is that there aren't many things that actually help people with ASD. So, with our project being one of the few things that truly help them in recognizing emotions, a very rare thing, we hope that our project will make a great impact for them. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay, Shubhankar, please tell us about your project.
Okay, so I've made EcoVolt, which is a machine learning tool to predict the consumption of electricity and water supply for a city or a household, so that surplus can be diverted to deficit areas using support vector machines. This way, we also directly facilitate rural development, and I made the project in lieu of UN's 11th SDG. So the model also presents suggestions to reduce consumption for a household based on factors like number of people in the household, names and numbers of the devices, and many other factors. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for that. So now that you all have explained your project in brief, there are a few more questions. So this one is for Ayush and Pranjal. Someone is asking which factors have you taken into account for your project to solve the problem?
Okay,
Oh,
so we took weather parameters mainly because, as you know, that renewable energy is mainly from our environment. So we have taken we take weather of the location, climate patterns, etc., to predict the efficiency. We also have trained the model on currently efficient power plants.
as of now, we have made it as a prototype on only solar power plants, and for that, we have used weather conditions such as the cloud cover, the solar radiation per square meter, and various other things that through research we learned that affect the electricity output of solar power plants. Thank you.
Okay, great. So another question is there for Abronil. Abronil, someone wants to know which book had inspired you.
So it is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. I think it is by Mark Haddon. So it talks about a boy, Christopher Bone, who suffers from the syndrome and how the syndrome affects him in real life throughout his interactions with others, throughout his schooling, with his parents, etc.
Okay, thank you. So we have one more question. This is for all of you, but um, I'd like to ask Akshay to please answer this. The question is, how much time did it take for you all to, file your patent pending technology? So Akshay, would you like to throw some light on the process a bit, and also the time which would require for this?
Sure. So, as a lot of you might now be inspired to file for a patent, how would you do that? What is the procedure? So, I'll just give you a glimpse of it in detail. The process is very big, but giving you a brief of it, whenever you have any idea which you feel you want to get patented, you can actually explore a lot of patents around the same. Which happened the first thing that all of these guys actually looked online, saw what is it which is around their projects. If it is something which is already patented, then if there is any room around that, you can change the idea a bit, tweak it a bit in a way that you can at least file for a patent. That is the first step. Now, in this case, the lawyer can also help you. Patenting lawyers are there who can help you out by telling us if it is something which should be patented or not. That is the first step. Then comes the provisional patent. Now, this time could vary from 2 months, 3 months, depending on how big is your project. It is nothing but you have to create a document which can be fileable. It would require multiple diagrams of your project, flow of how it works, what is it that you're using, each and every technology, a very minute detail that you have to actually mention. That is the second step. Now, right from having an idea, you can take your time to clear it out, close it, and see what is it that you feel like patenting in about a month or so, which these guys did in the same time. Then moving ahead towards filing for a provisional, a couple of months might be required, as it requires writing a document, which actually, if you are clear, very much clear, is a day's job. But to reiterate, they clean it a bit. I remember all of them actually working days and nights to get it done. So that is the second step. Once that is done, uh, the next step is to file for it, which these guys have. So once you have filed for it, there are a lot of benefits which these guys have shared with you. uh, After that, you actually apply for the grant, which goes about 1 year. And now, to get a patent is different, to file for a patent is different. These guys have filed for it. It might take it might take a lot of time to get a patent. It could be 2 years, 3 years, depending on the availability. So this is the process. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Akshay, for throwing some light on this. Okay, I believe that's it for today. I would like to thank Ayush, Shubhankar, Pranjal, Abrunil, Ashwin, Rishabh, and Akshay for taking time and sharing your journey with all of us. Also, a big congratulations. I would request our audience as well to congratulate these star kids to be able to file their own patent pending technology. Take a bow. You have done a great job, guys. And
Congratulations, guys.
also,
Congratulations.
yeah. Also, a huge thanks to our audience for being a part of this session. I hope you learned something today and motivated you enough to know more about IPRs. So, with this, goodbye, everyone. Stay healthy, stay safe.